Hey there, I'm Dr. Andrea Pennington. How are you doing today? I'm sending you greetings from the sunny south of France. I am interested in telling you about a new book opportunity. I am the managing director of Make Your Mark Global, and every year we publish a few group books where we invite individuals to share one chapter with a true story about themselves and their life to help other people. And this year we are doing something a little different, and it is about health and healing. Now, many of our books are about recovering from trauma and healing from diseases in miraculous ways. But this particular book, we are looking for two types of authors. One could be a doctor, a healer, a therapist, some sort of healthcare professional who has a methodology or a treatment approach. Or it could be a story from a person who has recovered from a health condition with the use of either complementary therapies or a combo of traditional and complementary therapies. So here's the backstory. I am a medical doctor and acupuncturist, and about 19 years ago this year, 19 years ago, I went into private practice, and I quickly built a holistic treatment center in the Washington, D.C. area. And over the first couple of years, I started to get people referred into our center who had what were considered the untreatable or weird diseases, mainly because at our holistic center, we offered things like acupuncture, Chinese medicine, psychiatry, traditional Western-style medicine, empowerment coaching, behavioral therapy. We had fitness. We even had a beauty spa. So we have this very holistic approach to looking at health and what was causing people's problems. So what I noticed was there was an interesting group of patients that started to get referred in who had conditions that in the medical community we might call idiopathic, meaning we don't know what causes them. Or we found people who had autoimmune conditions like lupus or arthritis or allergies and asthma or irritable bowel. And we also had people who were referred because their doctors told them it was all in their head. And I don't mean in a bad way, but they had what we call psychosomatic problems, meaning based on their mental state or their stress state, certain conditions in their body would get aggravated. And what was interesting is that as a traditionally trained medical doctor, there are certain conditions that are really hard to figure out. Working with rheumatologists and neurologists to understand things like multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, Lyme disease, and all of the weird things that it can cause. And what we notice is traditional medicine has a few effective treatments. Sometimes it's really harsh chemotherapy or the non-steroidal or steroidal treatments that try to just quiet down the storm of the immune system so that you don't have all these inflammatory conditions. Sometimes getting an infection, like having a tick bite that led to Lyme disease or some other weird viral infection, caused the immune system of some patients to just go haywire. And so I saw people who had, as I mentioned, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, Lyme disease. I had people who had these intractable migraines, depression, anxiety. And what was interesting is that some people had their entire immune system tweaked, or their entire sensory system tweaked. So having things like multiple sensory sensitivity disorder, or the Muses syndrome, where bright sunlight could affect them, vibrations from trucks or the land moving, electromagnetic frequencies from phones and computers and pagers and things, or just loud sounds or chemical smells, like being in an apartment or a house where someone was using an aftershave or a deodorant, and just the smell of it would send their entire body into overdrive, creating skin lesions or allergies or asthma or breathing problems. You name it. It was kind of like this mixed bag of things that there wasn't always one single common denominator. Some people had experienced trauma. Some people had experienced an infection or a burnout. But what was interesting was when we brought together a holistic treatment team working with neurologists and rheumatologists and psychiatrists and acupuncturists and Chinese medicine and herbalists, we were able to get to a good state for many of these patients so that they could bring their body some healing and relief and then start to manage their life, avoiding the triggers, whether that was foods or other exposures. Some people who actually had to have dental fillings removed so that they could get away from the mercury toxicity and heavy metal toxicity. So I'm saying all of this to say that it has inspired me and motivated me to bring together in a book for practitioners to get exposure for methodologies that people may not be aware of, and for patients or fellow sufferers to read the stories of how other people have recovered from some of these conditions and got their life back. Because many of these conditions, I mean, just because we say it's psychosomatic or it's related to stress or trauma, doesn't downplay the seriousness of these conditions. Because when you're knocked on your butt, stuck in bed, or having to avoid the outside world for many years, many of our patients lost their jobs. They lost their vitality so that they weren't even seeing their friends. They lost their income, which then caused them to lose sometimes their healthcare plan. So it can be incredibly devastating, and the effect on the family and the effect on the relationships is very significant. And so any sort of help that we can provide to people who are going through that is what this book project is all about. So if you are someone who has recovered from one of these sort of conditions, and it could be anything that I haven't listed, and you know that it was a combination of things that you either eliminated or removed or detoxed, or it was a treatment protocol that helped you, which could be a spiritual awakening, who knows, then we want to hear from people who have recovered. And if you happen to know, or you are a healthcare practitioner, a doctor, a healer, any sort of healer of any type, then we'd like to hear from you as well. If you happen to know how we can help more of these types of patients recover and get their lives back. So all of this is in partnership with my company, Make Your Mark Global. We are a boutique branding, media production, and publishing agency, and we focus on all books that are about health, spirituality, and psychology to empower people to live vibrant, full lives. So we offer a complete author training program as part of our group projects, where we invite the contributing authors here to the south of France or via live stream to get trained by me in a life writing process during a workshop we call Stories with Soul. And we look at the hero's journey as described by Joseph Campbell and some of the narrative psychology that talks about our identity and how we can use that for healing. And so I teach this workshop to all of our contributing authors. In addition, we offer full writer support with the editing, the proofreading, the design of the book. And as a result, each author contributes part of the fee for producing the book. And then we handle all of the marketing support for that as well. So in other words, we're lifting up the visibility and the profile of the authors that contribute to the book. So it's really beautiful for the coaches and healers and other therapists who want to get some more visibility in the global marketplace. So if this sounds intriguing to you, there's another video that describes the entire author program. It's really a beautiful program, and it's my gift to humanity and to those who really want to share their message in a global way with full support from someone who's got 20 plus years experience in the broadcast media space. So I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, you can also email me. Send an email to andrea@makeyourmarkglobal.com, or just click the link for more details about this book project, where you can click a button and enter your story idea to be considered for inclusion in the book. And then we can just jump on the phone or Skype or Zoom and get together and talk about the idea and the whole program. I look forward to hearing from you, and no matter what, my dear friend, I hope that you are living life to the fullest, because you are a gift to the world. So share your presence with passion. Much love.